All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And for the Application and Web Development, or AWD1111 .NET Framework with Web Databases class, I am going over a series of presentations I'm creating based off of our textbook, ASP.NET MVC with Entity Framework and CSS by Naylor. The book is 18 chapters long, and I'm now starting on Chapter 3, which is page 43, Searching, Advanced Filtering, and View Models. As mentioned here, this chapter will enhance the site functionality by adding a feature to search for products and add more advanced select control using a view model to pass complex data to a view. So we will, at least in part, get rid of the Viewbag. So, to perform a search for products, the author is going to add functionality to search through product names, product descriptions, and categories so that the user has a better chance of finding results. The category search is included so that if, for example, a user searches for clothes rather than a specific item of clothing, all clothes will be returned. If we did not search the category field, then it's likely you wouldn't find anything because there's probably very few clothes with the word clothes in them. All right. So as mentioned, the author will use link to entities, the link to entities contains method to search for matches in the product properties. So to add the product search, modify the index as in the following. So what we want to do is we've already got this, but we want to add in here string search. And I'm going against what I told you because I'm going to start doing some copying. When I'm spending 2 hours per chapter on this, it's just getting to be too much. So I've got this. Let's go back into here. And we again want to be in our products controller. So let's go into there. And in the index method that we have right here, we're going to add to that string search. And then after our if statement here, I think someplace in here, we're going to add some code as well. And that is here. So let's add it. All right, and then let's take a look at it and see what's happening here. Well, the first one's pretty obvious. We added a search parameter to our method. And now we're checking and we're saying here, if that search parameter, not the category, but if the search parameter is not empty, all right, then we want to go and if the search is not null or empty, the products query will be modified to filter the search so that we're going to be searching for something more specific. Translated into plain English, the author says, find the products where either the product name field contains the search, the product description contains the search, or the product's category name contains the search. So, how do we test this? Well, first thing we're going to do is we are going to save. Then we want our products page up. So let's go into our products and we want to search here. Let's just start at the index and let's view that in the browser. Should be bringing it up here. Here we go. So instead of products index right here, okay, which is going to show us everything, think. The author, and I'm trying to do the same thing, if you have not already figured it out, is very deliberate in the way that he does things in this book. All right, so there's everything, but I want to change this. So I want here products, question mark, search equals, let's try red. Notice red sleep suit and red fluffy dog from two different categories. All right. How about in the description? I don't remember what all of our products before said. In fact, let's put in here clothes. And notice we get everything that's in the clothes category. All right. And what else do we have? We've got bottles, was it? There we go. So we can find those. And for toys, how about if we just put in toys? There we go. All right. So at least it appears as though it's working correctly. So we tested it, and everything looks copacetic. In other words, it all appears to be working. The problem is, again, do we expect our user to have to type in this? That doesn't really make a boatload of sense. So what we're going to do, I like what the author does first. He said, let's get rid of the about and the contact links because we're not going to use them. All right. So we will go into our shared layout file. Let's close this. And they say first, let's get rid of the about and the contact because we're not going to use them. All right, so they're gone. Again, these squigglies, they appear and disappear. Don't worry about that. To add a search box, we have to edit the div with the class of navbar collapse in the view's shared layout CS.html, the file that we're in. All right. So we want to come in where we've got this div. Oh, where is it? They're right there, that navbar collapse, this. We want to come in there and after that UL, but before the partial, we want to add some code. Again, rather than me typing it in and taking a chance of me screwing it up, all right, I'm going to just add it from right here. Now, I will have no way in class, that did not work. I will have no way in class of knowing whether people are keying it in or not keying it in. And you might think, well, you really don't care. Yes, I do. Copy. I wish that you would type it in because I think you get more of the experience from typing it in. Now, you may or may not agree with that. All right. But to me, it just makes sense to do that. So we've got that using this. Let's move these over. This over. All right, that looks okay. Now, what we've done, if you take a look right here, it's everything that's in here. An HTML form has been created to target the index method of the product's controller, and everything here is styled using Bootstrap. All right. The form uses a get as opposed up here, as opposed to a post, so that the search term can be seen in the URL. We're also using a placeholder in here. So let's save this and let's try to run it. Now that's the layout file. So we should be able to use virtually any of these, but let's go to our home and let's run the index. View that in the browser. Now this is, as always, is taking quite a bit of time because, as you can see, I'm still in the middle of grabbing the last document or the last presentation that I made and producing it. All right. Okay, so there's our baby store, home, shop by category, view all products. See that? And we've got our search here. All right. And wow, it works. Cool. All right. The next thing that's discussed in our text is how to style using Bootstrap. And I do want to mention here, we've talked about Bootstrap back in our JavaScript class. All right. I don't want to read this stuff, but the author says, how did I know how to style the search box? Well, the answer lies in the website bootswatch.com, which gives you several free themes for Bootstrap. All right, and here's examples. So you can work with colors, etc. in there. So that section, they're saying this is HTML preview from Bootswatch. And this is figure 3.5 that is on page 46 of the text. Now, we will talk more about styling towards the end of this book, so don't worry about it for right now, okay? All right, the next thing that's discussed in here says filtering the search results by category using Viewbag. We've already talked about some of the foibles, or whatever you'd want to call them, not exactly problems, but let's just say, for lack of better words, some of the issues that exist when you use Viewbag. All right. So in the example, it says we will use Viewbag to display a select control. All right, and we'll relate it, etc. So the bottom line is, when you use Viewbag, and we've talked about this before, it works fine when you don't have a lot that you're working with. But the more that you have that you're working with, Viewbag sort of starts to break down. So we want to modify the index method of our controller to add a couple things. So let's go in and do that. We want our products controller. And in the index method that we're right here, after this line that's right here, so I'm on about line 32, I want Viewbag dot, and remember there's no IntelliSense here, search equals search. Notice the IntelliSense is back then. All right. Then after this, before we return, we want to add a little more code here. Var categories equal products dot order by. So we're going to use some link, and we're going to again use a lambda expression. And we're going to use another lambda expression. All right. The search is stored in the Viewbag to show it's going to be reused when the user clicks on a category filter. If it wasn't stored, let's just say it would screw things up. The code that we have here, this line, oh man, we get in here. The main P doesn't exist. This big long line that you have here where you're setting up categories generates a distinct list of categories that are ordered alphabetically. This list is not exhaustive. It only contains categories from the products that have been filtered using the search. Finally, a new select list is created from the categories variable and stored in the Viewbag for use in the view. Now, I don't like the way that looks, so let's see. I want to make sure var categories equal products dot order by P category name select P. Yep, that's because I'm missing something here. Same thing that we wanted. That looks better. P category name dot distinct. All right. Now, to make the HTML generated by the products index.cshtml file filter by category, we need a new HTML form to submit the category to filter. So we want to add a new form with an HTML select control in our views products index file after the create link. All right, so let's save this and let's go into our views products index file. You can see hopefully how this can get a little mucky, muddy, whatever you want to call it, quickly. There's a lot of stuff to be working with in here. All right. So let's see, after the create new link. There's the create new. So after that, we want to add the code. Again, I'm sorry, I'm just going to take it from in here. So we did this. And we're going to put in this using here that's unfortunately broken up over pages 49 and 50. Now, what this does is it adds a form that targets the index method of the products controller using get so that the string contains the values it submits. All right, might be easier to run it than to talk about it anymore. So we are in an index, so we can bring that one up immediately. So let's view it in the browser. So we have this filter capability right now. Notice it's showing us everything. We can filter and show us only the close. We can filter and show us, now boom, go back again to all. We can filter and show us only the feeding. Or we can filter and show us just the toys. Everything looks right now as though it's working correctly, but there's a possible issue with it. What is that? Okay. Well, let's go into close. All right. And we've got here search equals, oops, let's go back to close again, sorry. Well, it showed the problem, all right. There's red and red, but when we go back to, oops, let's go back again to where we were, all right. All, okay, but let's come in here and let's put in red and submit, and that's cool, but I want to keep it at red, but I want it to show me just close. Okay. Now, if I go back to all, it is back. It looks like it's working to me. The toys category, the author says, disappeared from the list of categories to filter by. So let's see if indeed that's the truth. So we've got all, click submit. Well, it didn't in mine. It says it's simple to correct this issue, but it highlights the need to build your queries in the correct order. In order to make this work the way that it should, we'll have to go to our products controller, and let's take a look at what's here. So let's look at what is currently here in our products controller. All right. You see all the stuff that's here, but what we want to do is this right here, this. We don't want that to appear until after we've set this var up. So I want to do here a Control X, then come down here and a Control V. And again, what the author is saying, and it's an important point, all right? It's one worth spending a second on. And that is, imagine, okay, imagine that what I want to do is I want to get up in the morning. Let's just say I get up and I shower. After I shower, I dry myself off. After I dry myself off, I put on deodorant. All right, it just came to me. All right, well, those are 3 steps. Step 1, shower. Step 2, dry off. Step 3, put on deodorant. Well, if I change the order of those operations to be reversed, then I put on deodorant first, then I dry off, then I shower. So you can see the order in which you do operations matters. All right? And that's pretty much what the author is saying right here. Okay? All right. I've got about what? 1, 2, 3, not too much more in this particular chapter. And where am I for time? I'm at almost 27 minutes, so I will break this up into a couple of lessons. So I'll be back with the next part of Chapter 3 presentation shortly.